Welcome to the Mutiny Report. I'm Fletcher Christian. This is what it feels like to be alive right now. Listen, the last 72 hours didn't just feel like a weekend. It felt like live footage of society pulling itself apart in real time. Politics, pop culture, rage scroll governance, all bleeding into the same bloodstream. Let's unpack it. If you blinked, you missed something chaotic. If you looked away, you woke up to a new fight. Here are the headlines that really matter. First, at the 2026 Grammy Awards, music didn't just play. It protested. Artists stood on one of the world's biggest stages and called bullshit on the status quo, on everything, turning a music ceremony into a front line. Bad Bunny made history, winning Album of the Year with a Spanish-language record, signaling not just artistic shift, but cultural shift. Billie Eilish, Olivia Dean, Za, and others didn't just thank their teams. They spoke truth to power, immigration, police violence, inclusion, and human dignity. That alone would be a headline in any era. But this wasn't any era. The host, Trevor Noah, in his sixth and final Grammy appearance, didn't play it safe. He used his stage to roast political theater, hit Nicki Minaj for her recent pro-Trump alignment, and dropped lines about the absurdity of contemporary politics. Then came the explosion. Donald Trump, J. Trump, yes, him, reacted not with a cool press conference or a staff-written statement, but like someone who mistakes public office for a Twitter fight. He called the Grammy Awards unwatchable garbage, lashed out at Noah, and threatened to sue him over a joke about Epstein and Greenland. It's like, give me a fucking break, dude. This is not exaggeration. That is not pundit flair. That is exactly what happened. He drunk truthed. That's what I call it. Even though he doesn't drink, he's an alcoholic. So let's slow down and parse the absurdity of this moment. The Grammy ceremony was not just awards and performances. It was a cultural pressure valve releasing steam. Performers used the mic to say what wide swaths of society are feeling. Disdain for immigration repression, empathy for the dispossessed, condemnation of punitive systems. But the mainstream scoop was dominated by one man's tantrum. Who is our leader? And this is what he's doing all over the world, throwing fucking tantrums. Trevor Noah cracked a joke in the late hour, something about Trump wanting Greenland now that Epstein's private island is gone, tying in broader conversations about eliteness and legacy. And boom, Trump blew a gasket. Maybe it'll make his engine fail, we'll see. On his social platform, he ranted that Noah's joke, a joke, was false and defamatory, and vowed to bring lawyers after him. He called the awards the worst, the host pathetic, and everything garbage. Now listen, this is after the Epstein file dump, which just basically shows that Trump, ard people, because I can't say that word on here. And give me a break, dude. This is just absolute total nonsense and bullshit. This wasn't strategy. It wasn't policy. It was a digital tantrum. Broadcast in real time, legal threats included. Now, to be clear, satire has teeth. A well-placed stitch can expose hypocrisy in ways policy papers never could. But the reaction? That is what tells us where we are culturally. The joke didn't create the storm, it surfaced the storm. We have an American political figure treating public discourse like a fucking bar fight. A sitting leader willing to threaten lawsuits against comedians? What a giant pussy. That's not leadership, that's a fever. Now we need to go a little bit deeper into this tantrum. What's really going on here? For real. Let's break this down for a second. Number one, pop culture is not separated from politics anymore. Sorry. Stages, screens, award shows, they're all platforms where ideology does battle. Music isn't escapism, it's frontline commentary. I'm a fucking musician. I know what this is. I just get shit for this all the time. The outrage machine is the same machine that grinds culture once the narrative gets weaponized. The focus isn't on policy or reason, it's on who got louder. The louder side wins eyeballs, not truth. This reaction, the threat of suit, the mockery, the defensive posture says more about fear than strength. True power doesn't need to litigate jokes. It needs context, argument, and legitimacy. What we saw this weekend was fear of narrative control. And that's where we are. Artists speaking for the voiceless on stage, a political figure lashing out at humor, and society watching in split screen. And I want to take time just for a second to congratulate my friend Samantha Fish on her nomination for her Grammy. This is her second time. Just Little caveat there. All right, some extra headlines. There was weather chaos. The winter storm battered parts of the U.S., shutting down roads, forcing emergencies across multiple states. Global tension has definitely simmered, from Middle East flashpoints to geopolitical standoffs, resurfacing in headlines, reminding us that the world's instability is not pausing for a fucking award show. This is a lot for a weekend. But this, Trump's digital tantrum after the Grammy Awards, that's the narrative pivot everyone is going to remember. He's a giant pansy. Literally. The biggest one I've ever known. The largest pansy. The greatest pansy. Here's the takeaway. We are deep in a culture where entertainment, politics, satire, and outrage are indistinguishable. Platform and power are now the same thing, and everyone with a mic is trying to drive the narrative. That creates opportunity and danger. The opportunity is obvious. Truth can ride pop culture into millions of homes. The danger is equally obvious. The same cultural war can now swallow nuance, intelligence, and human empathy. So the real fight isn't between left or right. I keep saying this. It's between clarity and chaos, up versus down, between storytelling with substance and storytelling with reaction. And if this weekend taught us anything, it's that chaos is decided to speak first. Stay human, stay fearless. For fuck's sake, stay mutinous. Mutiny out.